So I just have your attention. Thank you. Welcome along, everybody, to our public forum this evening. Our first live stream public forum that we've had with the new. Jesus. No, the public forum. Okay, I didn't read a public forum last month. Anyway, welcome along. The public forum is being live streamed via Council's website, and a person's image and/or voice may be broadcast. Attendance of at the public forum is taken as consent by a person to their image and/or voice being live streamed. If any person attending the public meeting does not agree to be live streamed, they can choose to leave. Members of the public speaking at the public forum are reminded that their address is not to include any comments or information that may be present, I should say, a legal risk, including defamatory comments and/or disclosure of personal information. Council accepts no liability for damage that may result from defamatory comments made by persons attending the public forum. All liability will rest with the individual who made the comments. A recording of the public forum will be published on Council's website and retained as a Council record in accordance with Council's Code of Meeting Practice. So welcome along. Each speaker gets 3 minutes. I'll give one little ding at 2.5 and 2 at 3 minutes. And our first speaker this evening is Dr. Andy Eldon.
You calling me?
Queldon, sorry. Who will speak for item number 1 of the notices of motion report, being Peak Hill Aboriginal Medical Service. Thank you, Andy, if you'd like to come up to the lectern.
Hello, hopefully you can all hear me. I recognise quite a few of you here, but for those who don't know who I am, I'm Dr. Andy. Dr. Andy Queldon. I do have a surname, but everybody calls me Dr. Andy. And I work at the hospital here in Narromine, have done for the last 5, getting on 6 years, and also used to work at the practice just across the road here. So I'm here to talk to you about the AMS. As Yuri said, we run an outreach clinic here that is at Narromine AMS, but it's an outreach of Peak Hill AMS, so that's where that comes from, if you were wondering that. So why have we got an AMS? Why do we need one? So I identified a need working at the hospital. There was 20-25% of the Aboriginal population of our town, and identified a need seeing people in the emergency department for primary healthcare, which we do through the Aboriginal Medical Service, so essentially GP type work. And there are a lot of people who fell through those gaps for a number of reasons. Difficult to organise appointments weeks in advance. I'm sure you've all felt that at the GP surgery. That's nationwide. So there was a real need there, and there's a significant minority of our population who didn't have any real care, and I wanted to follow these people up. And I tried looking after these people as a GP in the practice here, and for a number of reasons, again, it didn't really work. And the population, the cohort of patients that I would see at the emergency department who needed my help were not patients who you typically see in the practice here. So that's a point I'd like to make, that we're not in competition. I've spoken to Neil McCarthy. I have a very close working relationship with the team. I'm pointing over there, but it's actually over there. Yeah. So a very close working relationship with them. We're not in competition with them at all because our patient groups don't really overlap. So what do we do currently? Currently, we're in the community building that's at the end of the hospital grounds. We rent a room there. It's not ideal, but we wanted to show that this had legs and that we could prove the concept. It's an old building, I'm sure you're all aware. There's lots of asbestos and things in the wall. So if you want to do anything, it's a bit of an ordeal to try and get some, basing on the wall, this sort of stuff. We don't have an area where we can lock anything away because it's a multi-use place that we have. Certain things of medical stuff have gone missing, like somebody pinched my ear syringe. And it lacks a sort of privacy because we have the day hospital there too. So anyway, we proved that it works. We have about 10 to 20 appointments a day, and we have Aboriginal health workers, optometrists, podiatrists, dietitian once a month, and we're looking at taking on the high school with the Clontarf stuff too. We'd like some new premises. We'd like a proper examination room. We'd like to be able to lock things away and nobody to be able to steal them. We'd like a culturally appropriate location. We would like some more space and facilities. And I'll finish it by saying I'd like to get some visiting specialists in, paediatrician that they've got in Clontarf and also an endocrinologist diabetes. And we need the right facilities for that, and we can't do that where we're at. And I'm happy to take any questions as and when at the relevant time.
Yep, thanks, Dr. Andy. Any questions?
Is there, hello, Dr. Andy. Is there any great benefit being that location and being joining to the hospital, other than being, if we do get somewhere else, which would be a great facility elsewhere, away from the hospital? So there's an advantage being.
Look, it's been useful in that because I work at the hospital, I have access to the hospital computer system. So I've been able to sort of cross-rate. Is that what you're asking me? Like as a bit, yeah. And it was useful because I work there, the whole team, it's sort of very closely linked. Everyone knows where the hospital is. But really, we've outgrown that. It was never really a sort of long-term place that we wanted to be in. We managed to find somewhere, a room that we could rent, that we had so we've got an examination couch. So you guys probably haven't been there, but we've got sort of one room that's got the desk in it where I talk to patients. There's like you've experienced at a normal practice. Then I have to go into another room. There's a bit of a hodgepodge that's got an examination couch that's used by the podiatrist and used by the midwife and this sort of thing. So, and that's the room that other people have access to. And we've got, a dermatoscope that's worth over $1,000 and this sort of stuff in there. And people have access to that, and things have gone missing in there. So whilst there are some benefits to that place, it's not really somewhere, because it's an old building and because there's so many issues with New South Wales Health and the building itself, that if you were going to sort of put money into doing it up, it'd be better to do it somewhere else, because you get more bang for your buck. Does that make sense? Because we've already sort of outgrown it. And the privacy is not great. So when people come in, I don't know if you've been into the community centre, I'm sure some of you have, there's like a small waiting area and you walk up the corridor, and quite often we clash with other events going on. So there's a day hospital on a Tuesday and a Friday. So there's, maybe 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 more people there. And somebody's got to walk past all of those people to get into the room to see me. And obviously, depending on what the situation is and what they come to see me about, you might not want to do that, walk in front of all of those people. So, I think we've proved there's a definite need. It's worthwhile. It's working really well. People, we're doing a good job without blowing my own trumpet, me and the team. But now we could really do with, some new pastures and proper.
Excellent. Thanks very much. Most certainly.
Dr. Andrew, Adine Hoey, I'm from training. I'm not familiar with the service up there, what it looks like or anything. Do you have an idea of somewhere where you would like to do it?
Chris is going to talk about that. This is the CEO. We would like somewhere culturally appropriate. I understand there are some places on the river that I'm not sort of greatly involved in this, so there'll be others who'll be able to talk more specific to that. Somewhere that would be on the river, because of its cultural relevance, would be great, because then we can have things that we've tried to do before, like informal sort of yarns down by the river, where we could have people and check their blood pressure and just talk about men's health and women's health and stuff like that in sort of informal environment. Because it's so culturally important, it would be great to have a spot that's right on the river and sort of meld those two together. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yes. So sorry, Dr. Andy, so that's actually for multiculturals, though, for Europeans, Aboriginals as well. The facility that you would want to build.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's Chris will be able to tell you exactly on the percentage. I mean, I think it's like 60-40 that Aboriginal medical centres usually sort of, it's a very different, it's hard to explain. And I don't mean to be like, it's hard to explain, you won't understand. It's just sort of, it's a very different service between a normal general practice and an Aboriginal medical service. It's almost sort of too hard to put your finger on, but the whole, I'm going to say the vibe at Castle coming on here, it's just the vibe of the place is very different to Aboriginal. And having worked in both areas, I can tell it's very different. And it's other people will be able to speak more towards this, but I feel it's certainly much more culturally appropriate in an Aboriginal medical service, but we're not exclusively.
Thank you, Andy. One more question, because we've got a conscious time, 10 past.
Yeah, it was just that you operate 5 days a week.
Not at the moment. No, we do 4 clinics a month, because me and Dr. Marina, who's my colleague who works at the hospital here, as that expands, then things would change. Yeah. But at the moment, we do essentially 1 clinic a week. Yeah. Yeah. And quite a lot of informal stuff that's not in clinic hours, but yeah.
Thanks, Dr. Andy.
Yeah.
Our second speaker is Christine Peckham, who would like to speak on the same item, number 1 of the notices of motions, being the PQL AMS service. Thank you.
I'm Christine Peckham. I'm the CEO of the PQL Aboriginal Medical Service. I just wanted to start off with some background information on the proposal that we'd already sent to Council, and that was a proposal for establishing a permanent building for PQL AMSs. At the moment, weekly GP clinics in Narromine. Prior to the GP clinics, we had been sending our allied health team over to Narromine for quite a number of years. Our podiatry, our dietitian, diabetic educator. We've been coming to Narromine doing health promotion and health education at community days, at NAIDOC, etc. And we're seeking support, like Dr. Emma said, to get a permanent place. We've actually been in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different spaces, and the place we have now seemed appropriate at the time. At this stage, down the end of the community health building at the NPS. It's not really ideal, but for all the reasons Andy had said. And we've built our team up as well over the last 12 months with more health workers, Aboriginal health practitioners, our nurse. So they come over and actually three more health workers who did different programs. So we have cancer care support, elder care support, and our ITC program, which is integrated team care arrangements, which are supplementary services for our Aboriginal people who have to go to specialists. We provide some funding for them for their consults, for accommodation, for special equipment that they may need. So what we've done today is we've improved, drastically improved access to care, to health care for Aboriginal people in PQL, so, and Dubbo, and because we also do elder care support and podiatry clinics in Dubbo. So for Narromine. Okay, so the proposal was basically to look at resource requirements. We were seeking for land allocation or leasing arrangements for a suitable location, capital funding for the construction, fit out or purchase of the building, and ongoing operational support to maintain and staff the facility. Now, having said that, and in conclusion, and in the spirit of Yindamara, which means respect and reconciliation, I'd just like to mention that the recent launch, which was just last month, of the Closing the Gap Toolkit, developed in partnership with the local government of New South Wales and the Coalition of Aboriginal People Organisations, was specifically designed to support councils to align their strategies with the national priority reforms of the National Agreement on Closing the Gap. So the aim is to improve.
Excuse me, Joanne, your time's up, mate. If you can just wrap up real quick.
Yep, I've just got one.
I'll move this.
Move motion. I'll second it. Continue. Yep.
So aim to improve the life outcomes of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. There are 17 socio-economic targets and the 4 priority reforms, and you can find them online if council hasn't already got toolkit. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much. Any questions? Just Christine, please.
I'd like to ask, are you asking for direct funding from the council at all, or just a location?
Location, and I've had discussions and some consultation with Phil, but we're also seeking funding as well. It's, you know, through various Aboriginal capital works programs, and through the New South Wales government, Commonwealth government. We'll see what's everybody.
Thank you. One more quick question. We're really running out of time. Council meeting has started at 5:30. So any other quick questions for Christine? Thank you very much. Okay, our third speaker is Kim Edmonds, who would like to speak on item number 2 of the Community and Economic Development Report, being the lease of 35 Burraway Street, Narromine. Thanks, Kim.
Hi, good afternoon, Mayor and councillors. My name is Kim Edmonds, if people don't know who I am. I'm the president of the Narromine Car Club. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this afternoon. Our club is a non-profit organisation of 27 years we've been going for. The money we raise throughout the year is up to $10,000 a year to local charities and in Narromine Shire only. So for sporting, we give the Narromine Cancer Support Group money as well. So any sporting things in Narromine for children, doesn't matter what age, we donate money to them. Our previous meeting place was that is not always available for our meetings. So it has been very difficult as we have over 100 members in our club. So it's been they double book or whatever. It's been just very hard to work with them. So due to this, we would like our own clubhouse. So the old new museum, if people don't know where it is, it's next door to the police station. We would prefer for our clubhouse where we would have our monthly meetings and our cars and coffee where communities can come and have a look at what we do we have it the last Sunday of the month. And we have cars and coffee there and people come up from everywhere to have a look at it. So we'd be able to, and the club would keep the upkeep ourselves. And if possible, we would be able to put a toilet in as there's not a toilet in there at all. So we're asking the council to support and work with us to make our clubhouse possible. Thank you for your time and considerations. Now, I'm very quick. Sorry, guys. Is there any questions anybody would like?
Thanks, Kim. Any
Kim,
questions?
you're going to fit 100 people in that clubhouse?
We don't have 100 each time we have a meeting. It would be nice, but no. But that's just the members we have up at this stage. Yeah. So it's actually quite big when you look at it. Yes, it's really, it's big in there. But most time our meetings we have about 40 people, and it's the last Friday of the month. So, and as I said, the cars and coffee, we do that the last Sunday of the month.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Just quickly, is it that specific site? So if that specific site was not available and we found you a different site, is it that specific site that you're after, or is it just a place and stuff?
It would be great, that site, because we do have cars and coffee the last Sunday and because we use the coffee shops and things like that down the street.
Yep.
That would be great.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But if we couldn't,
Question, mate?
right?
Kim, have you got any idea how much putting toilet facilities in there would cost?
I actually spoke to one of our members and he's going to have a look for us. That's Beanie. Now I'm on plumbing, so he's going to have a look. He doesn't think it would be that expensive to put it in, but as I said, we'd have to put the proposal into the council to put one in because there's nothing there. It's got like the kitchen area, and he said it wouldn't be hard.
Excellent plumber, so that's good.
Yeah. Any more
Any
questions?
other questions of Kim?
The people realise what we do, the Narromine Car Club. Like as I said, we've been here for 27 years, and as I said, what we raise is nearly up to 10 grand a year, which is great. And then we just give it to local charities, so it all stays in town. It doesn't go anywhere else. And so we're a club that we like to hand out. So yeah.
Thanks very much, Kim. And our fourth speaker this evening is Chris Kelly, who would like to speak against item number 2 of the Community and Economic Development Report, being leased at 35 Burraway Street, Narromine. Thank you, Chris.
Firstly, welcome. This, I really don't want to do this, but that is a heritage building. I've volunteered in the same club for 51 years in this town, and we've lost, like, we put our money into countless things. Last year alone, we gave 15,000 to Timberbongi. This year it was 20,000. We've never had a clubhouse ever. Neither had the Lions Club, neither did the Rotary Club, neither did the Apex Club, neither do any of the clubs. They don't have clubhouses. You're setting a precedent here by giving one club a building that should be a heritage building and looked after. The Air Museum, I work out there a lot as a volunteer. 1 in every 4 people coming through that museum asks the same question: what else is there to see in Narromine? And of course, the answer is nothing. Zilch. Have you got a museum? No, we don't. Have you got an art gallery? No, we don't. But that hall was originally, I've asked around today and yesterday, that hall was Narromine's public hall. And then it became a museum. And there's no reason why it couldn't become a historic museum again. I've talked to Norman Medley at the library. All the information's there to turn it into a historic museum, if you just want to put a bit of time and effort into maintenance on the building. Once you let it out, any damage done to the building is done forever. It's not going to be repaired. That is a heritage building. And it's up to the council to look after it and keep it as such for the town. God knows we've got precious little buildings left in this town that we can actually call original heritage buildings. So I'm against it. As I said, you're setting a precedent. You do it for one club, you're going to have to do it for all of them. So bear that in mind, please, when you think about this. And to the council itself, think about putting it back into a museum. It'd be so easy to do. Or a historic museum. I'm finished. Bye.
30 seconds.
Any questions?
Any questions of Chris?
Yes.
Can we, other gallery people ask questions or any council? You can't ask, the gallery can't ask, sorry. Any councillors got any questions of Chris? No? Okay.
Volunteer labour in this town is, you've only got to really ask for it. I mean, we've never really been sure for museums, and it's been going for a long while.
All right, thanks, Chris. We'll have a short break. The council meeting will start at 5:30. Thank you.